Okay, so hi. I left there at 9:30, and you can see it was 10. And I came back at 11:18, and he was still sitting in his car in the driveway of their property inside, just talking it up with them for God, over an hour, just hanging out in there. So I really cannot talk about it. I heard his voice, but I haven't witnessed him. Thank God. Okay. He and my witnessing, from what I could tell from what statements she made on the phone, once I walked into the driveway, turned around after I saw his car, I went down 25th. It was about a 5-minute walk, and then I called, green light, caller. And she tried to say that I was paranoid. And she said, you don't need to be afraid. You don't need to be afraid. So she's trying to say I'm paranoid. I'm a mental case and it's grounds for arrest. All that is typical. It's what she's going to do to defend herself from what I've witnessed her do, of course. Okay. And so she has this police officer that has got her back. You know, he's down there at the precinct. So she's really thinking she's never going to be investigated, anything. She's above the law. We know that. I've been very aware of that. And apparently what's been going on there that I have witnessed in that house, which I'm forbidden from talking about, has been going on way before I ever got there, about 2 years. So when they struck Iran, the bridge and the civilians, yesterday was so unforgettable inside that house. And I'm absolutely forbidden from talking about anything I saw, heard, smelled, any of it. But every time the good guys strike Iran, that house is historical living hell. And so these two in that house, one of them being my legal mother, legal relative, can go ahead and call the cops all they want, hang out with the cops in that house all day long, if they think that's going to keep them from ever facing consequences to what I've been witnessing since I walked in there. All right? It's completely clear for me to say this, but I have to also kind of walk on eggshells. I can't talk about anything at the same time, but I can say a lot more than I've been able to these last 5 months. So what you're looking at with those dates is, first they want to get me out of the house. They want to have me arrested. Ideally, they don't want to try to put me into a mental hospital or it's not just that. That guy, that AJ guy, is there to try to say I'm some sort of felony, serious criminal court offender. Because they're not so sure that a doctor is going to say, yeah, she needs 4 to 5 years of solid, permanent institutional commitment. Because that's what Bonnie and her spouse are trying to sign papers to do in the state of Washington. So that's so egregiously illegal and fabricated. This crowd doesn't really feel too solid on that, but what they've got is the Pentagon, and Donald Trump is huge on Donald Trump, and that's the main reason why I'm filming this. Is my guidance and prayers put this up and say his name. So Donald's desperate attempt today was to send in the local precinct Port Townsend Police Department to literally sit in that property talking to these two, bringing his whole police precinct into that, telling this crowd here on the ground, the police department and those two in there and others who I can testify against, telling them that since he's the president and he's the Pentagon, that they're going to be pardoned. It's huge, gigantic. Square it with the pardons. No matter what you do in anyone's face, just keep doing it. Say they're mentally ill, or just deny that you did it, even if it's on camera. Because I'm the president and we got the Pentagon and we'll pardon you. So they have their gang of police, like I've been saying for years, and I definitely know it from DC. I know that they definitely did there. And so they obviously have them here, and they're just hanging out in the property all the time now. And it's really, really, really detrimental to that police department to be doing that. But at that point, I can't make comments or statements because it's out of my department because of what I've witnessed in there. So I can't be talking about how detrimental that is. I can't say anything. So yeah, I did witness that AJ cop, I heard his voice. I heard him. I called her. He was definitely in the property, definitely talking to her, definitely standing right there. His car was definitely in the driveway. And I called and he said, I gotta go. And he bailed out 5 minutes after I went in the driveway. He decided to leave after this hours-long chit-chat. And the main thing for Donald Trump today was to have me arrested for some sort of grounds of mental health. I'm afraid, I'm paranoid. I think AJ's gonna get me. I think everyone's gonna get me, no matter what I've seen, smelled, saw, everything in Washington State. It doesn't matter as long as they have that pardon. So, and they have their gang of cops. And so when I saw the car, I left, and I was assessing this. I was like, okay, this is really weak. They're really desperate. They have their cops. They're running around Port Townsend. They're doing shit that's mind-blowing. It's bad enough where I can't talk about it. It's just not my department. There are superiors here. I am not at the top here. I'm kind of caught in the middle. You got these ones on the ground running around thinking, okay, I've got a badge. I've got a squad car. I've got handcuffs. I'm a cop. Let me go to that house. Let's all work it out. Get together and talk about it. Let me go and get her. I got Donald Trump. He'll pardon me. Let's go do that. So the guy sat in the freaking house for God knows how long. And then when I come up, he bails out. I hear him talking to her. But what they're really trying to set the scene for, because they're not so sure if this mentally ill commitment in an institution for 4 to 5 years is really gonna fly and work out for them. So what they're trying to do is pin me for something that I have no idea about. It's some egregious felony, federal capital crime. It's like really bad, right? And this AJ guy on the ground here in Port Townsend, this little town, is gonna show, I saw it in DC. I saw these type of cops in DC. He's going to show Trump and the Pentagon and the Saudi Arabians how big and bad he is. Look at me, I'm going to show you how big I am. And so he did that today. He went and showed Putin and everybody, these big guys to them, these big head honcho bosses to them. Look at me, I'm AJ, I'm a bad guy. Look at me, man, I'm going to do it. I got the biggest balls. So AJ's trying to prove that, okay? I don't even want to say his name. It makes me fucking sick. Okay, and what I've witnessed in that house, I'm forbidden from talking about, but any dude with balls wants to go in there and tell me that I imagined all the blood I've been through, spitting balls of blood and pissing blood through my ass. You're going to tell me to go get a cancer screening? Be my guest with your big balls. All right, so but I can say that, but that's it. I'm off. I mean, it's at once, stop, cease making statements. It is so serious what's going on. Okay, so then I asked her politely, I said, what's your schedule and agenda? Gotta see your police department friend is still there. And then she got all nervous and he bailed out on the phone. I could hear him, I gotta go. And she started rambling things at me. I got some sort of idea of her schedule, which is rare. And I'm here where I'm safe, in my safe zone. And this is the deal. So with those calendar dates, the stepfather, who is not a stepfather, I would never acknowledge him as that. Okay, but legally he's my mother's spouse. So he's using that legal standing as the one that's going to call. And so this is what we're doing right now with the first week or so of April and into the second week, is the stepfather stalks me like he does. he calls on the phone and they all come back. And what was going on was, if I walked up 22nd or 25th, that AJ with all his little town cops would have swooped up on me, and it wouldn't have been for mental health. It would have been for this crime that I did not commit, that I don't even know, and I don't think they would tell me or read me my Miranda rights. They're not exactly trying to get me to go through the jury trial system on fake charges. They're trying to open fire on me. And I've said that before about DC, and I'm witnessing it happen all the time here in Port Townsend. And I've said that about Port Townsend, but I couldn't really get on the internet very much. But consecutively, if you look through what I've said since I've come here, that's what I've said. Is they trying to open fire on me, the police here. A lot of them come from Bremerton. They're actually military. They put on the uniform. They acquire somehow a squad car or whatever kind of identifiable car. If not, it's just one of those vice cop cars. They jump out, they say I'm a drug dealer, this or that, and they declare there was a struggle, and they just popped me with their fucking bullets. And when they're taking actions like this, these guys of Trump's and Saudi Arabia, who flip out every time Iran gets hit with missiles, bunker busters, the bridge yesterday, this crowd fucking flips and rages. Like, what I saw yesterday, you don't even know. Fucking rages. So I guess I'll include Iran in that. This crowd starts coming after me. And you can see it's in category there. First it's the arrest, get me out of the way. Then they start striking with that India-Pakistan crowd. And they're really after Israel. And anyone that's aligned with them. So I don't write every last target, but Israel is the thesis here because of the fact they're Jewish, the fact that they stood up to terrorism, the fact that they stood up as a people to the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacist Nazis. And everyone I'm looking at in this town is lily white. So I couldn't understand at first why they were getting so mad about Iran. But they're after, obviously, Israel in a big way. Iran is. And I write that down. You can read that all day. And I noticed the similarities. When Iran gets their ass kicked, this town and those folks where I'm at, fucking raging furious. So I don't know. I mean, you think, God, I didn't know you loved Iran that much, man. Wow. It must have broke your heart when that Ayatollah got himself blown up. You must have been fucking in a catharsis in bed. And is that why you lost so much sleep? You don't sleep? Is that why? Okay, so anyways, and you can see then they start to, once they make these strikes with India and Pakistan, the strikes get worse and worse and worse. And yes, it's huge. It's huge, huge, gigantic. Yes, all caps, squared, beyond cosmos. Then they start hitting, once they've hit with catastrophic weapons, they have their biological weapons they're just going to use on populations. So that's this big grand plan they have in order to revenge on the US and Israel. And so they have their folks in the United States with Trump. Obviously, I've witnessed this. And they promise them pardons. They give them power of arrest. They give them power of this or that with whatever degree they might hold. It depends on, what they've studied in college. Depends, but they give them these positions of power. And they promise them a pardon, and then they have them go out and commit atrocities because they're not going to ever be faced with consequences for it because they get that pardon. So I can't talk about anything I've witnessed here, but this stepdad, who I would never acknowledge as a stepdad, he is my mother's spouse, has no right to be calling the cops on me. He's supposed to be the one leading the charge here. As soon as I go back, bling, 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 he calls AJ, and this goes on for those dates. It's like endless. And what I've seen him do, I'm forbidden from talking about, but you don't want to be in my situation, okay? With a guy like that ready to call the cops on you. All right, I'm supposed to say this. I'm supposed to get off the internet. Have a good day.